Dr. Emily Carter had always dreamed of becoming a doctor. Growing up in a small town, she spent countless hours with her father, who was the local physician. He taught her about medicine, compassion, and the importance of helping others. As a child, Emily watched her father care for patients with kindness, and she knew that she wanted to follow in his footsteps. After years of hard work in school and medical training, she finally achieved her dream and became a doctor. Before everything changed, Emily had a fulfilling life in the bustling city where she worked at a busy hospital. She loved her job, treating patients from all walks of life and feeling like she made a difference every day. Her world was brightened further by the love of her husband, Tom. They shared dreams of starting a family and making their mark on the world together. However, life took an unexpected turn when Tom fell ill. Despite Emily's efforts to save him, Tom's condition worsened rapidly. She spent sleepless nights at his side, holding his hand as he fought for his life. Tragically, after months of battling his illness, he passed away. This devastating loss shattered Emily's heart and left her feeling empty and adrift. The bustling city that once felt alive now felt suffocatingly lonely without him. In search of solace, she made the difficult decision to leave everything behind. With heavy luggage filled only with memories and the hope for a fresh start, she journeyed to an abandoned ghost town far from the bustling city life she once knew. The town was desolate yet hauntingly beautiful, its crumbling buildings told stories of lives once lived there. Emily hoped that this quiet place would offer her peace as she mourned her husband. However, as days turned into weeks in the ghost town, loneliness crept back into her heart like an unwelcome guest. The silence was deafening at times, it echoed against the empty streets and vacant houses. With no one else around to care for or console her, she poured herself into what remained of her medical supplies, using them to help the few townsfolk who wandered through seeking aid. Though Emily had sought refuge in this isolated place, each day reminded her of what she had lost, the laughter shared with Tom, their dreams together, and it became harder for her to find hope again as she navigated this new life alone in the ghost town. Little did she know that change was on its way, ready to shatter her solitude and bring light back into her life. The ghost town, known as Silver Hollow, was once a thriving mining community. In its heyday, it bustled with life, laughter, and the sounds of hard work. Miners and their families filled the streets with energy, hoping to strike it rich in the nearby hills. Now, however, the town stood eerily quiet, a collection of weathered buildings that whispered stories of the past. As Emily wandered through the deserted streets, she marveled at the remnants of what used to be. The saloon with its broken windows was now just a shadow of the lively gathering place it had been. Dust swirled around her feet as she stepped over cracked wooden planks that led to what was once the heart of the town, the general store. Its shelves lay empty and cobweb-covered, and faded signs hung precariously above, advertising goods that no longer existed. The air carried a heavy silence that settled like a thick fog, wrapping around her like an old familiar blanket of grief. Each step she took echoed against the walls of abandoned homes where families once shared meals and laughter. Emily could almost hear the faint chatter of children playing outside or smell the bread baking in someone's oven. But now, those memories felt like distant echoes, fading reminders of lives that had fled long ago. Silver Hollow had been a place full of hope, but when the mines ran dry, so did its spirit. Families packed up and left one by one, drawn away by the promise of better opportunities elsewhere. The town's decline mirrored Emily's own feelings of emptiness and loss, both were abandoned to confront their silent struggles alone. She found herself drawn to an old church at the edge of town, its steeple reaching toward the sky as if still hoping for salvation. Inside, dusty pews stood in solemn rows facing a faded altar where prayers had once filled the air with hope. Emily could sense the heartache that lingered in these walls, visitors seeking solace from their troubles. It reminded her of her own search for peace after losing Tom. Yet, amid the decay and desolation, there were signs of resilience. Wildflowers pushed through cracks in the pavement, nature was slowly reclaiming what humans had abandoned. As Emily took in her surroundings, she felt a flicker of hope deep within her, a feeling that perhaps this ghost town held more than just sorrow, it might also harbor new beginnings and unexpected connections waiting to emerge from its shadows. Each day in Silver Hollow brought Dr. Emily Carter new challenges. The isolation of the ghost town weighed heavily on her as she navigated her role as the sole medical professional in an area with few resources and even fewer patients. While she had once thrived in a bustling hospital, surrounded by colleagues and patients, here she found herself often alone, relying solely on her knowledge and determination to help those who sought her care. The small clinic that quickly became her makeshift office was nothing like the modern environment she was accustomed to. It consisted of a few dusty shelves lined with medical supplies salvaged from the remnants of a long-abandoned pharmacy and an old examination table that creaked every time someone sat on it. With only a flickering lantern to light her work, Emily sometimes felt like she was trapped in another era. Despite the challenges, she managed to treat the few townspeople who came to her seeking help. One patient was an elderly man named Mr. Jenkins, who often hobbled into the clinic with complaints about his arthritis. Emily always listened patiently as he shared stories from his youth, tales of vibrant festivals and lively gatherings in Silver Hollow. She found herself growing fond of him, but each consultation reminded her of how much life had changed for both of them. As she treated basic injuries and illnesses, Emily also faced emotional challenges that weighed on her heart. The loneliness pressed in around her like an unyielding fog. There were days when despair threatened to swallow her whole. Her memories of Tom lingered like shadows, complicating her ability to fully engage with the present or forge new connections within this dwindling community. Between caring for patients, Emily would often sit quietly in the empty clinic reflecting on her late husband and their dreams for a shared future, a future now lost to tragedy. Feelings of helplessness washed over her during moments when patients arrived too late or when there simply wasn't enough medicine available to provide adequate care. Yet, amid the weight of it all, Emily found purpose in her work. Each life she touched, whether through a small prescription or a kind word, reminded her why she had pursued medicine in the first place. Helping others became a lifeline amidst sorrow. These daily acts transformed into small victories against loneliness. With every passing day, Emily learned to adapt to her new life and embrace both its beauty and its struggles. Each challenge molded her into a stronger version of herself. Still, deep inside, she held onto an ever-hopeful flicker, a longing for connection and healing that might soon come into play within this forgotten town marked by both loss and resilience. As Dr. Emily Carter continued to navigate her new life in Silver Hollow, a figure from a different world approached the ghost town. His name was Koa, a Modoc warrior whose lineage traced back centuries to the indigenous people of Northern California. The Modoc were known for their deep connection to the land, their rich culture, and their resilience in the face of adversity. Koa embodied these traits, tall and strong, with striking features that told stories of his ancestors' struggles and triumphs. Koa had grown up hearing tales of his people's courage and their close-knit community. His father had been a respected leader among his tribe, teaching him the values of honor, respect for nature, and the importance of helping those in need. Koa learned early on that true strength lay not just in physical prowess but in compassion and understanding. Motivated by a desire to honor his heritage, Koa often traveled through remote areas, seeking ways to support those who lived as his ancestors once did. On one particular journey, he heard whispers about Silver Hollow, a town that had fallen into disrepair and despair after its glory days as a mining hub had faded. Intrigued by the stories of its past and moved by the thought of helping those who might still call it home, he decided to make his way there. As he entered Silver Hollow for the first time, Koa was struck by its haunting beauty. The crumbling buildings stood like silent sentinels guarding long-lost memories. He could sense the weight of history hanging in the air, a mixture of joy and sorrow woven into the very fabric of the town. It reminded him that even places abandoned by many still held stories worth telling. Koa's initial motivation was simple: he wanted to lend a hand wherever possible. With his knowledge of herbal medicine passed down from generations before him, he hoped to help any who were suffering or unwell in this forgotten place. He felt an instinctive pull toward Emily, the only doctor in town, and sensed that perhaps together they could bring some light back to Silver Hollow. As Koa began exploring the area more extensively, he took note of Emily's clinic from afar. He often saw her tending to patients with care despite her evident loneliness. There was something about her spirit that resonated with him, a shared strength born from loss that made him want to reach out further. Little did they know that fate would soon intertwine their paths, leading them both toward healing, for the town's wounds as well as their own hearts. transforming what began as individual journeys into a shared story full of hope and possibility. One crisp morning in Silver Hollow, as the sun cast a warm glow over the dilapidated buildings, Dr. Emily Carter was restocking her meager supply of medical herbs in the small clinic. She had recently taken to gathering plants from the surrounding area, hoping to find alternative remedies for her patients. The gentle rustling of leaves and the distant chirping of birds provided a serene backdrop to her thoughts. As she stepped outside to collect more herbs, Emily spotted a figure moving gracefully through the town's ruins. Koa, with his tall stature and confident stride, walked toward her with purpose. His long hair danced in the breeze, and he wore traditional Modoc garments that blended harmoniously with the surrounding nature. Emily felt an instinctive flutter of curiosity mixed with caution. It was rare for anyone new to arrive in Silver Hollow. When Koa reached her, he offered a respectful nod. "Hello," he said, his voice calm and warm. "I come seeking those who might need help." Emily's heart raced as she absorbed his presence. "Help," she echoed, intrigued by the strength radiating from him. "Are you a healer?" With a gentle smile, Koa nodded. "I have learned from my ancestors about the plants and their healing properties. I can offer support as needed." As they talked, Emily discovered that Koa not only had knowledge of herbal medicine but also a deep understanding of community and compassion that resonated with her own values. She shared her challenges as the town's sole doctor and admitted how overwhelming it could be at times. Koa listened attentively, his eyes reflecting genuine empathy. "I understand what it means to care for others," Koa replied thoughtfully. "In my culture, we believe that healing goes beyond the physical, it encompasses the spirit as well. Perhaps together, we can make a difference." Sensing a budding camaraderie, Emily felt a weight lift from her shoulders. For the first time since arriving in Silver Hollow, she felt less alone. Koa's presence was comforting, a connection to someone who understood hardship yet retained hope for brighter days. Over the next few days, the two began working together closely. They gathered herbs side by side, Koa teaching Emily about various plants while she shared her medical knowledge in return. Their conversations became more profound. They spoke of life, loss, and dreams for a better future. Each laugh and shared moment built a foundation of friendship that neither had anticipated. Emily realized that Koa was not just an ally in her work, he was becoming a source of inspiration and purpose in her life. As their friendship deepened, both felt an unspoken promise in the air, an understanding that together they could heal more than just broken bodies, they might also mend their own hearts, intertwined by fate in this forgotten town infused with stories waiting to be rewritten. As the days turned into weeks, Koa began to see more clearly the struggles that Dr. Emily Carter faced in her role as the sole medical provider in Silver Hollow. Although she had found a companion in him, her burden remained heavy. There were days when her exhaustion was palpable, and he could see how the weight of loneliness seeped into her spirit. Observing Emily as she tended to patients, Koa noted how she often had to make do with limited resources. The small clinic was barely equipped to handle even the most basic medical needs, and he could sense the frustration that crept into her voice when she spoke about the challenges of keeping it running. It pained him to watch someone so dedicated feel overwhelmed by their circumstances. Determined to support her, Koa approached the idea of building a proper clinic for Emily one afternoon as they sat on the steps of her clinic, sipping herbal tea brewed from freshly gathered plants. "You have a gift for healing," he said thoughtfully, his gaze steady on her face. "But you need a place that reflects your strength. This town deserves better care than what these old walls can provide." Emily looked up at him, surprise flashing in her eyes. "You mean build a new clinic?" Koa nodded earnestly. "Yes. Let's create a space where you can heal not just the body but also the community spirit. I know people who can help gather materials and construct it." A spark ignited within Emily at his words, hope mingled with disbelief. She hadn't allowed herself to dream of such an endeavor, she felt too engulfed in day-to-day survival. But Koa's unwavering determination inspired something deep within her, a flicker of excitement at the possibility of something greater than herself. Over the next several days, Koa set plans into motion. He reached out to neighboring communities, sharing stories about Silver Hollow and its resilient doctor who needed support. Word spread quickly about his initiative, and soon volunteers from nearby areas began arriving with tools and supplies. Koa worked tirelessly alongside them, lifting beams and hammering nails while encouraging Emily every step of the way. He reminded her of her value, not just as a healer but as a leader within this town that had once been vibrant but was now healing from its own wounds. As they built together, Emily felt more connected to Silver Hollow than ever before. The act of creating something meaningful revived her spirit. It was as if she was witnessing not only a physical structure rising but also hope growing anew within herself. Through Koa's determination and support, they transformed an abandoned plot into a new clinic, the wall standing strong like promise itself, a testament to what unity could accomplish even in the most desolate places. And amid laughter and shared labor, their bond deepened further as they collectively laid foundations for both health and friendship, breathing new life into Silver Hollow together. With the decision made to build a new clinic, excitement buzzed in the air as Koa and Emily began planning their construction project. They gathered local volunteers, spreading word throughout Silver Hollow and surrounding towns about their vision to create a healing space. Eager faces arrived, bringing with them not just enthusiasm but also an array of skills that would prove invaluable during the building process. The group met early each morning, armed with tools and a renewed sense of purpose. Koa took lead in organizing the tasks, his calm demeanor encouraging everyone to contribute their strengths. Some volunteers cleared debris from the designated lot while others salvaged materials from nearby abandoned buildings. Old wooden beams, weathered planks, and rusted nails were put to good use. Emily felt a sense of pride as she helped sift through remnants of Silver Hollow's past, realizing these pieces of history could become part of their future. As they began laying a foundation, challenges quickly emerged. It wasn't long before they encountered obstacles that tested their resolve. A severe storm rolled through one night, flooding the construction site and washing away much of their progress. Spirits drooped as muddy water pooled where labor had been done with care just hours before. Yet, Koa's unwavering optimism inspired the group to regroup. Just like life, building takes patience, he reminded them. We'll clean up together and start anew. Embracing his words, everyone came back rejuvenated after the storm cleared. It was a lesson learned. Every setback was simply an opportunity for growth. As they reset their foundations, Emily noted how the teamwork shifted relationships within the community. Laughter mingled with conversations and stories of strength echoed around them. She felt connected not only to Koa but also to the townsfolk supporting this endeavor. There were moments when exhaustion loomed large. Many volunteers would head home after long days of hard labor without sufficient rest. Emily often offered small health checks or handed out her herbal remedies for sore muscles or fatigue. It was her way of ensuring that everyone stayed strong through the physical demands of building. Throughout this journey, Koa continued to teach Emily about resilience, both in construction and in life. He often brought her to quiet spots after work, sharing traditions about how his people view harmony with nature. These discussions deepened friendship ties while they cultivated respect for each other's roots. Finally, after weeks filled with sweat and determination, walls began rising where once there had been only earth and memories of abandonment. The structure took shape under their collective effort. It became a symbol of newfound hope amidst struggle, a place where healing could flourish. On the final day of construction, the sun peeked through scattered clouds as they stood back and admired their work, a sturdy clinic standing tall against the horizon. The laughter and joy radiating among them made every challenge worthwhile. Together they had built more than just walls, they had re-established community spirit in Silver Hollow. With unity as their guide and dreams reborn in this new space, lifelong friendships emerged while hopes soared higher than ever before. As the days turned into weeks during the construction of the clinic, Emily and Koa found themselves spending more time together, both on and off the building site. Their initial connection blossomed into a deep friendship, forged through shared labor and mutual respect. The challenges they faced became integral moments in their growing bond. Each obstacle they overcame only seemed to draw them closer. One evening, as they paused from their work to rest under the fading light of day, Koa shared stories of his childhood with Emily. He spoke of traditional Modoc ceremonies and how his people honored the earth. She listened intently, captivated by his tales. In turn, Emily shared memories of her life before Silver Hollow, her dreams of becoming a doctor and the love she had for Tom. In these quiet moments, vulnerability permeated their conversations, allowing them to see each other's heart beneath the layers of loss and responsibility. As they labored side by side, laughter often echoed through the site. When Koa made a playful remark while working on the roof, Emily couldn't help but chuckle. That laughter felt like a balm for her sorrow, reminding her that joy could still exist amid hardship. Each shared smile solidified their connection, a silent acknowledgement that they were both finding healing together. Koa admired Emily's unwavering dedication to her patients and how she tirelessly cared for those in need. Her willingness to go above and beyond inspired him. She was not just a doctor but a beacon of hope in a town that had seen better days. He often caught himself stealing glances at her as she pored over old medical texts or carefully prepared herbal remedies for volunteers who were weary from work. One afternoon, while they mixed concrete for the clinic's foundation, Koa noticed Emily struggling with the weight of her bucket. Without hesitation, he stepped in beside her, taking some of the burden onto himself. Together, he said with a gentle smile, "We can do this." Those words lingered in Emily's mind long after their tasks ended. It symbolized not only their teamwork but also her growing reliance on him and his support. Koa was not there to replace Tom, rather, he was becoming someone who could walk alongside her through her healing journey. As construction progressed and walls began to rise around them, so too did Emily's feelings toward Koa deepen into something more profound than friendship. She found herself enchanted by his kindness and strength, drawn in by the way he honored both his heritage and those around him. With each passing day spent together, building not only a structure but also their lives, Emily recognized that Koa was helping her reclaim pieces of herself long lost to grief. For the first time since moving to Silver Hollow, she felt a flicker of hope that perhaps love could bloom again within her heart amid these desolate surroundings. And as they stood together one evening gazing at the nearly completed clinic against the twilight sky, a monument built from dreams and determination, they couldn't help but feel that together they were creating not just a healing space for others but also an opportunity for new beginnings for themselves. The spirit of community began to awaken once more in Silver Hollow as the construction of the new clinic progressed. Inspired by the dedication of Dr. Emily Carter and Koa, former residents and those who had ties to the town started to return and lend a hand. It was as if the ghosts of Silver Hollow were summoned back from the past, breathing life into the abandoned streets and fostering a new sense of belonging. One weekend, word spread that a community gathering would take place near the site of the clinic. Families and friends from nearby towns arrived with food, tools, and stories to share. Everyone was excited about revitalizing Silver Hollow together, which felt like an act of reclaiming their history. Children giggled as they ran through vacant lots where laughter had long gone silent, their joy echoing off the weathered walls. As the sun dipped low in the sky, casting a golden glow across the gatherings, Emily and Koa stood before a group of eager volunteers. "This clinic isn't just about healing," Emily explained. "It's about bringing our community back together. We have a chance to create something that will serve everyone, old and young alike." Her voice carried a passion that ignited hope among them. Koa added, "The strength of our ancestors lives on in us. With each nail we hammer and each brick we lay, we are not only building a clinic but also restoring the heartbeat of this town." His words resonated deeply with those present, reminding them that they were all part of something larger than themselves. Inspired by their vision, other townsfolk stepped forward, eager to share their own skills. An elderly woman named Mrs. Thompson brought her experience in carpentry, teaching younger volunteers how to construct sturdy benches and tables that would furnish the clinic. A local craftsman named Miguel shared his talent for painting. Brilliant colors representing the earth and sky would soon decorate not just the clinic but also elements of the town as a whole. As the days turned into weeks, laughter and camaraderie filled the air around the construction site. Barbecues were organized to reward hard work with food and connection, creating moments where neighbors exchanged stories of their pasts while forging new bonds for the future. The more people engaged in this effort, the more invested they became in nurturing their home. People began reviving other parts of Silver Hollow too. The once overgrown park started to take shape again with flowers being planted and benches restored. Small businesses considered reopening, inspired by this newfound momentum. Hope spread like wildfire. Individuals who had once felt isolated began to see themselves as part of a community once again. Emily watched with a full heart as connections grew stronger, not only among adults but also between generations. The children learned from the elders, eager to help and keep traditions alive as they participated in this revitalization. It was evident to her that this effort transcended constructing mere buildings, it was about rebuilding lives and dreams. With Koa beside her, Emily felt not just gratitude but also a renewed sense of purpose in every smile exchanged and every project completed. They had sparked something special, an awakening that turned their work into a movement dedicated to preserving Silver Hollow's legacy while allowing it to flourish anew. As friendships blossomed and spirits lifted, it was clear that together they were crafting not only a physical space for healing but also an emotional refuge that embraced all who called Silver Hollow home. The day of the clinic's grand opening dawned bright and clear, illuminating Silver Hollow with a sense of renewed purpose and excitement. Banners handmade by local children fluttered in the gentle breeze, their vibrant colors promising hope and healing. As townsfolk gathered, they brought with them not just gifts of food and decorations but also hearts full of gratitude and anticipation. Dr. Emily Carter stood outside the newly constructed clinic, her heart swelling with emotion. The building, once merely a dream on paper, now stood as a testament to resilience and community spirit. It was more than just walls, it represented a fresh start for everyone who had felt the weight of abandonment in this ghost town. Beside her, Koa radiated pride, knowing that their efforts had sparked a movement that transcended their individual dreams. As the crowd began to gather, Emily took a deep breath, remembering the countless hours spent working alongside volunteers to create this healing space. Faces from the community appeared before her, some she recognized from her days as the Soul Doctor, while others were new friends who had joined along the way. Each person carried stories intertwined with Silver Hollow's past and present. When it was time to officially open the clinic, Koa stepped forward to address the crowd. "Today, we celebrate not only a new clinic but also each other," he began, his voice steady yet passionate. "This place will bring healing to our bodies and nurture our spirits. Together, we have shown that even in the darkest times, we can find light." His words struck a chord within everyone present, they felt united in a shared vision of hope for their community. Emily felt her own heart leap with joy as she realized how far they had come together. When Koa gestured for her to join him at the forefront, she stepped up without hesitation. Emily spoke from her heart, her voice shaking slightly with emotion. "This clinic is a reflection of our commitment to one another," she said, glancing at Koa, who smiled encouragingly. "It will be a place where anyone can seek help and where our children can learn about health and wellness. Thank you all for believing in this vision." As she finished speaking, the crowd erupted into applause, cheers echoing through the streets of Silver Hollow. There was a palpable sense of joy in the air, a feeling that together they had achieved something remarkable. After cutting the ceremonial ribbon, Emily and Koa invited everyone inside to explore their new clinic. Laughter bubbled forth as families wandered through the colorful rooms decorated with art made by local children. The aroma of homemade snacks wafted through the air as people gathered in small groups to share stories of the town's history and dreams for its future. Children played games outside as adults mingled, exchanging hugs and heartfelt congratulations. With each smile shared and every bond strengthened, Emily felt an overwhelming sense of belonging wash over her. She glanced at Koa, who looked equally moved by the collective joy surrounding them. Together, they realized that this event marked not just the opening of a clinic but also a profound moment in their lives, a culmination of hard work that had forged unbreakable ties within their community. As they celebrated this new beginning with those they had touched so deeply, both Emily and Koa understood that they were laying down roots not only for health and healing but also for love and connection in Silver Hollow. As the days turned into weeks following the successful opening of the clinic, the bond between Dr. Emily Carter and Koa deepened into something undeniably special. Their shared experiences, from building the clinic to nurturing the community, had laid a strong foundation for their relationship. Together, they had transformed not only a physical space but also each other's hearts. One evening, after a long day of seeing patients and helping with community events, Emily and Koa took a rare moment to unwind together. They strolled through the park that was slowly being revitalized with flowers and laughter from children playing nearby. The sun began to set, painting the sky with hues of orange and pink, casting a warm glow over Silver Hollow. As they walked side by side, Emily felt a sense of peace wash over her, a feeling she hadn't experienced since before Tom's passing. Koa paused, turning to her with a softness in his eyes that made her heart flutter. "You've brought so much light back to this town," he said sincerely. "Your dedication inspires not just me, but everyone around you." Emily smiled, feeling her cheeks warm at his words. "I couldn't have done any of this without you," she replied. "You believed in us when I struggled to see the way forward." As they continued their walk, Koa reached for her hand, intertwining his fingers with hers in a gesture that felt natural and comforting. With each step, they exchanged stories about their hopes for the future, dreams of continuing to serve their community and build a life that honored both their pasts and their shared journey. That night marked a shift in their relationship. It was as if the air around them crackled with unspoken feelings waiting to be acknowledged. Koa realized he could no longer hide his growing affection for Emily. She had become someone incredibly important in his life. A few weeks later, under clear starry skies during a quiet evening at the newly finished clinic garden, Koa decided it was time to share his feelings more openly. They sat together on a rustic bench surrounded by blooming wildflowers, fragrant herbs wafting through the air. The tranquil ambience set the perfect stage for what he hoped would be a memorable moment. "Emily," he began gently, "every moment we've spent together has changed my life in ways I can't express fully." He paused for a moment before continuing, "You have brought me joy and purpose again after so long. I want to stand by your side through everything, both in our work and in life." His words resonated deeply within Emily. She felt tears prick at the corners of her eyes as she listened intently. Koa reached into his pocket and pulled out a small handcrafted necklace made from local materials, a pendant shaped like a heart intertwined with nature's elements. "I know we both carry our pasts with us," he said softly as he placed the necklace around her neck. "But I want you to know that I want to build our future together." Overwhelmed by emotion, Emily looked up at him through glistening eyes. "Yes," she whispered, her heart soaring as hope filled every corner of her being. Koa smiled widely as relief washed over him. He hadn't realized how much he needed to hear those words until now. They embraced tightly under the stars that twinkled above them, the universe celebrating their newfound love. In the days that followed, wedding preparations began to take shape as they shared their plans with supportive friends and communities who had become family over time. Their love story intertwined beautifully with Silver Hollow's revival, an embodiment of hope, resilience, and new beginnings for themselves and those around them. Together they envisioned not just a wedding but a lifelong partnership dedicated to nurturing love within their hearts and healing within their community. The wedding day arrived, bright and full of promise as the sun poured golden light over Silver Hollow. The community had come together to create a beautiful celebration, with every detail reflecting the blending of Dr. Emily Carter's and Koa's cultures. Colorful banners adorned the trees, their vibrant hues dancing in the gentle breeze, while floral decorations filled the space with fragrant blossoms. Emily stood nervously as her friends helped her into a simple yet elegant white dress that flowed gracefully around her, adorned with delicate lace and intricate beadwork. It resembled not just a gown, but a symbol of clarity among life's complexities, a fresh start for her after years of sorrow. She looked into the mirror, catching a glimpse of her radiant smile, open and hopeful. The reflection was not just of a doctor but of a woman ready to embrace love again. On the other side of the clearing, Koa donned traditional Modoc attire, a striking outfit composed of intricately woven materials and feathers that honored his heritage. He donned a necklace that had been passed down through generations, its shining stones reflecting both his pride and his devotion to Emily. As he prepared for the ceremony, Koa felt overwhelmed with gratitude for this moment in time, a culmination of struggle, growth, and newfound hope. As attendees gathered, the solemnity of the occasion filled the air but was tempered by excitement and love. Friends and family from both Emily's and Koa's sides mingled together, sharing stories and laughter as they eagerly awaited the moment when these two worlds would unite. Once everyone settled down, the ceremony began under an arch made of intertwined branches and wildflowers, a beautiful representation of nature's abundance. The officiant started by introducing the significance of love and partnership in different cultures, emphasizing how Emily and Koa's union exemplified unity despite diverse backgrounds. Koa stepped forward to speak first. "Marriage is about joining two hearts," he said thoughtfully, his voice calm yet filled with emotion. It is an acknowledgement of each other's journeys. He spoke from deep within his heart, sharing how Emily had brought light back into his life after much dark time spent alone. When it was Emily's turn to speak, she looked deeply into Koa's warm eyes. "This wedding is not just about us today," she began. "It is also about our community, the family we are building with everyone here." After exchanging heartfelt vows that drew tears and smiles from their guests, they exchanged rings made from local materials, a blend of gold for eternity intertwined with natural elements symbolizing growth. As they slipped them onto each other's fingers, they solidified their commitment to build both a life together and a lasting legacy in Silver Hollow. Finally, with hearts joined as one, Koa lifted Emily's veil and kissed her gently. The crowd erupted into cheers and applause as if nature herself had joined in their celebration. Birds burst into song overhead while flowers danced in approval around them. As dusk approached, they transitioned from ceremony to celebration, an evening filled with music and dance where communities came together once more. Wellspring food was served alongside traditional dishes from both cultures, a feast celebrating love in all its forms. The allure of laughter mingled with melodies filling the streets gave everyone a chance to enjoy each other's company while honoring both traditions represented in this momentous occasion. Underneath an expanse of stars glittering above them like blessings bestowed by ancestors from generations past, Koa and Emily began their journey anew, as partners committed not only to each other but also to nurturing their beloved Silver Hollow into flourishing harmony for years to come. Life after their wedding brought a new rhythm to Dr. Emily Carter and Koa's days in Silver Hollow. As partners, they seamlessly merged their roles at the clinic, working together to provide care and support to the community. Their shared commitment to healing transformed not just the clinic but also their relationship, as they learned to lean on each other in both their personal and professional lives. Each morning, Emily would arrive at the clinic early, preparing for the day ahead. She would set out instruments and organize herbal remedies that Koa had helped her learn about during their time together. Koa joined her, often bringing fresh herbs from the garden they had created in the backyard of the clinic. Not only did this garden yield useful ingredients for their medical practice, but it also became a symbol of growth and nurturing, a reflection of their evolving relationship. Throughout the day, they saw patients together, combining Emily's medical knowledge with Koa's understanding of traditional healing practices. This collaboration enriched their approach to care, providing a holistic experience that resonated with the townsfolk. Many felt drawn to the clinic, knowing they could receive treatment that acknowledged both modern medicine and ancestral wisdom. Their partnership extended beyond medical work. Emily and Koa actively engaged with the community, organizing health fairs and educational workshops in the evenings. They invited local specialists to speak on various health topics, ensuring everyone had access to knowledge as well as care. The community came alive during these events, laughter filled the air as families bonded over shared experiences and learned together. As they worked side by side, Emily could see the change in Koa too. He flourished in this role, taking pride in not only his cultural heritage but also in becoming a pillar of support for others. He often led workshops focused on traditional Modoc health practices, teaching families how to use local plants for common ailments. Emily admired his confidence in sharing his knowledge, realizing how important it was for him to honor his roots while serving their community. Outside of work, their relationship continued to blossom. Evenings were often spent walking hand in hand through Silver Hollow's revitalized park or enjoying quiet dinners with friends who had become like family. The couple made time for each other despite busy schedules, sharing dreams about the future, their laughter ringing through the peaceful evenings. One night while stargazing beside their garden, Koa turned to Emily, pulling her close as they gazed together at the constellation-filled sky. "Look how far we've come," he said softly, reflecting on their journey from two individuals who had faced profound losses to partners building a life full of purpose and love. Emily smiled dreamily at him, her heart swelling with gratitude. "And we'll keep growing, together." Their newfound life radiated warmth and hope throughout Silver Hollow. Every day felt like an opportunity to strengthen their ties with not only each other but also with everyone around them. With each patient treated and each connection fostered, Emily and Koa not only built a thriving clinic but also cultivated a loving environment where healing flourished, a testament to what love could achieve within both hearts and communities alike. As the sun set over Silver Hollow, painting the sky in shades of pink and orange, Emily and Koa found themselves standing in their garden, a space they had nurtured together, which now flourished with vibrant herbs and flowers. In that tranquil moment, they reflected on their remarkable journey from solitude to companionship, recognizing how far they had come since they first met among the ruins of the abandoned town. Emily turned to Koa, her heart warm with gratitude. "I still remember how lost I felt when I first arrived here," she confessed. "It was overwhelming to think I could ever find joy again. But then you showed up." Koa smiled softly, brushing a reassuring hand along her back. "And I remember seeing you working tirelessly for others despite your pain. Your strength inspired me to become a part of this community, to help create something meaningful." They exchanged glances filled with understanding, knowing their connection had blossomed against all odds. As they tended to their garden, Koa carefully picked a handful of fresh herbs. "This garden symbolizes our growth," he said thoughtfully. "It shows how we've both cultivated our own roots here. Together, we changed not only the landscape but also each other's hearts." Emily nodded in agreement, contemplating the love that had blossomed within her amid grief and uncertainty. "I never expected to find love again, my heart felt so fragile after Tom," she admitted. "But you encouraged me to open up and embrace life once more." Koa took her hands in his, sincerity shining in his eyes. "We healed together," he said. "You helped me rediscover the importance of community and belonging that I thought I'd lost forever." Their shared purpose fueled both their personal journey and the revival of Silver Hollow, entwining their lives with those around them. As they built relationships with townsfolk, their lives became richer and more vibrant, filled with laughter during community events, wisdom shared during workshops, and friendships that deepened through hardship. Reflecting on how their love had united generations within Silver Hollow profoundly uplifted them. The clinic they built became not just a place for healing but a hub for connections, a space where young and old could come together to share stories and celebrate life. With each evening spent under the stars after long days of work, Emily and Koa recognized the full circle of resilience in their lives. The darkness from which they had emerged shone light upon new beginnings steeped in love and companionship. More than a romantic relationship, what they nurtured was a partnership grounded in compassion, one that expanded far beyond themselves to encompass the healing of an entire community grappling with its past scars. Standing there in their garden, their sanctuary filled with life, they couldn't help but feel hopeful about what lay ahead. As Koa brushed a thumb gently across Emily's cheek under the twilight sky, they made unspoken promises to continue nurturing both their love and the flourishing spirit of Silver Hollow. Together, they would be dedicated stewards of hope destined for eternity amidst nature's abundant beauty, strengthened by a journey rooted in connection that would ripple through their beloved town for years to come. Reflecting on their incredible journey, Dr. Emily Carter and Koa understood that their lives had undergone a profound transformation, evolving from solitude and grief to love and partnership. Silver Hollow, once a ghost town shrouded in despair, now stood as a testament to hope, resilience, and the power of community, a change they had helped nurture through their unwavering commitment to each other and the people around them. As they walked through the revitalized streets filled with laughter and bustling activities, Emily was filled with gratitude. "Every moment we've shared here has been a lesson in perseverance," she mused. "We've not only built a clinic but also reignited the spirit of this town. It's remarkable how love can bring life back to forgotten places." Koa nodded, his heart swelling with pride as he surveyed the vibrant community they had fostered. "It has always been about connection," he replied thoughtfully. "When I first arrived, I sensed the potential that lay within both you and this town, so much history waiting for renewal." With each step they took together, Koa felt more convinced than ever that their work could bring healing not just to individuals but to an entire community. Together, they continued to host workshops and health fairs while encouraging storytelling circles where experiences could be shared and wisdom passed down from generation to generation. In these gatherings, older residents shared tales of their youth, the joy of childhood games played under the shade of magnificent trees now seen sprouting again in the park, and younger generations listened intently, absorbing knowledge about their heritage. Their collective efforts revitalized not just buildings but also the human spirit. Neighbors became friends once more, strengthening ties that had long been frayed by time and neglect. As relationships blossomed in Silver Hollow, so too did a renewed appreciation for tradition alongside modern advancements in care. Emily often found herself overwhelmed with emotion when she saw former patients return to the clinic as empowered individuals ready to contribute to their community. Each smiling face reminded her of how far they had come, how her passion for healing had sparked something beautiful in those around her. One evening, after another successful community event where laughter echoed late into the night, Emily and Koa returned home content but reflective. They settled into their garden under the blanket of twinkling stars. "You know," Emily said softly, "I never thought I'd be able to call this place home again after losing Tom." Koa turned toward her with understanding. "I felt lost too before you came into my life," he admitted gently. "But together we found our purpose, not just for ourselves but for everyone here." With hands intertwined, they watched as fireflies danced above their flourishing garden, a magnificent symbol of hope illuminating darkness. Their journey was transformative, each moment spent together affirmed that love truly could overcome adversity. As they whispered dreams about the future, about expanding their clinic further or perhaps starting programs for youth, the air was thick with possibility. They both knew that the seeds of hope had been planted not only in their hearts but deep within Silver Hollow itself. It became clear that by nurturing love among themselves and instilling it within their community, they would ensure that healing flourished for years to come, a legacy rooted firmly in compassion, resilience, and unwavering belief in brighter tomorrows.